Hey, what's up? It's David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producers. And in today's video, we're going to talk about dealing with knee-jerk objections. So what exactly is a knee-jerk objection and how do you handle them? So a knee-jerk objection is something of some sort of what sounds to be an objection that you hear early on in the sales presentation. Usually it's way in the beginning before you get into any sort of factual representation or presentation of what you're doing, why you're there, who you are. It's a way for the prospect to tell you that they don't want to buy. However, my contention with this particular objection is that it doesn't really substantiate any meaning. And here's what I mean. If you've ever been in a sales call, you may have heard somebody say, hey, look, before we get started, I just want you to know I'm not interested in buying. I think about this stuff. And yeah, so just want to let you know before we go forward. That is not an objection in the traditional sense, where mostly what we hear is at the end of a prospecting call or at the end of a sales call. Because here's the thing. You have to understand that sometimes what people say doesn't necessarily mean what they mean. There's emotions behind saying certain things at certain times that you have to look past the words that are used and read the underlying emotive currents that are going on. So, for example, in this circumstance, what you have to step back and think about this and think, well, how would somebody make a decision on whether or not they want to buy before they're presented the terms, before they're presented the details, right? They don't know anything about you or the product or the price or the details. And what they're trying to do, instead of saying they don't want to buy, is they don't want to be pressured to buy. They don't want to be put in a position to where, probably like has happened in the past, they've been suckered into something they wish they never have purchased because they bought instantly. And what they're doing is conflating buying instantly with making a bad decision, and those being the two things together, which is why they don't want to buy right away, potentially. So where does all this go? Now you know the psychology behind this. This is what they're really saying. They just don't want you to buy. The incorrect process is to start decompartmentalizing this with the prospect. In other words, arguing, asking them why or getting into details. You just need to calmly acknowledge it and move on. So take this example again. Hey, just letting you know, Mr. David Duford, I don't want to buy. We think about this stuff. We pray about this stuff, whatever their excuses. Just want to let you know. I say that is totally fine, Mr. Jones. No problem at all. So what was your thoughts and concerns when you decided to send in this card? I go right back into my script, wherever it is. I acknowledge that and just continue. I am fine dealing with an objection that's based off of the successful completion of a sales presentation. Why? Because now that objection is based on something I did or didn't do within the sales call, and we can begin to address it. I can't address a knee-jerk opinion on the value of buying now or later until we've determined what it is that I'm doing makes sense or doesn't make sense for the prospect. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So the short and dirty is just to acknowledge it. That's a good thing to do, because it lets them know you heard them and you respect that opinion, and just continue. You know you're not going to sell them now. You know that you're not going to ask for them to buy now. You've got to make your case first. You've got to sell them. You've got to sell yourself. So get to that point first, and then ask for the sale like you did. Assume the sale, and then let them stop you at that point, and then you can begin to have a constructive conversation about what is it they need to think about, and isolating the objection, all the training I do on that. So that's knee-jerk objections. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of sales training, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Share and thumbs it up too, so you can help other agents like you who are struggling maybe with this kind of sales objection. Make sure you visit davidduford.com if you'd like to learn more about the books that I offer for sale for different life insurance agents, as well as some sales systems, lead programs, and the opportunity to work in my agency. You can find more about that at davidduford.com. Thanks for watching. Take care.